Welcome back to Growth Catalyst Sub, and welcome back to the day number 19 of the 30-day Turbocharge Your Career course on YouTube. On day number 19, today we are going to look at how you can use LinkedIn posts to improve your personal brand. Today, the value of personal branding is being realized by many people. All of us are, in some manner of speaking, brands. What is a brand? A brand is something that delivers consistent value over a period of time. And the company that we work in, the people that we work with also expect us to consistently deliver value over a period of time. In the whole process of delivering value, I can't be good today, bad tomorrow, good for a few days, not delivering value for a few days. I can't be inconsistent in doing that. Consistency is a great virtue which business respects. Delivering value is a great virtue which business respects. And at some level, all of us are expected to deliver value. All of us are expected to deliver value consistently over a period of time. In that manner of speaking, with that logic, all of us become personal brands. The question is, how do we develop and grow this personal brand? What do we do if LinkedIn platform is available to all of us? What is it that the most successful people are doing on LinkedIn that we can learn and replicate? Let's dive in and see what are some of the things that you can do. One of the most important things that any one of us can do on LinkedIn is sharing our thoughts, sharing posts, sharing newsletters, sharing content. When you share content, it tells the world that you have a point of view about whatever that you are sharing about. It also shows that you care about sharing and you are not worried about getting criticized in the process. So it takes a lot of guts to stand up in front of the crowd and speak. And on LinkedIn, you are actually doing the speaking in the manner of writing and putting it up so that you are open to scrutiny. You are open to criticism. You are opening up in terms of feedback. So, and that's a great thing to have. When you do that, professionals start respecting you. They say at one level that this person is willing to share the thought process. This person is willing to be given feedback. This person is willing to share the thoughts and willing to be criticized because of that. At another level, what it does to you when you start sharing your thoughts, ideas, point of view, and so on, it forces you to think and clarify. If you want to write on LinkedIn, you can't write easily. You will be worried and afraid of people getting back to you asking, what the crap are you writing, Vishy? So before writing, before speaking, I should be ready to think through. I should be ready to be crystal clear. I should be ready to be crystal clear in terms of what thought process that I want to share, which POV, what kind of POV that I want to share and why. And I should have thought through. Without thinking through, it's very difficult for anyone to share any POV. So if you have to share a POV consistently on LinkedIn, you should have thought through. And the very act of writing on LinkedIn, sharing your POV on LinkedIn forces you to think through. And that is, to my mind, a very great benefit that people don't really sit and appreciate. Now, what are the ways of sharing posts? You can do one of the two things. To start with, you can look at the posts being shared by thought leaders, industry vertical leaders who are already sharing, and you can comment on that and share your comments. The sharing of comments ensures that you are starting to engage with that kind of idea, that kind of POV, and chances are that even the person, the thought leader who wrote that piece originally might revert back to you, thanking for your feedback, appreciating your points, and pointing out his point of view as a reply. It builds engagement. It also gives you, at least in the initial phases, the confidence to start engaging with point of views and thoughts and ideas. One step further, You should start sharing your POV, your thoughts, your ideas. You should start writing original article and you should start writing them on a consistent basis. I would suggest start with at least once a week, maybe twice a week at least, for a period of time. You don't have to do it immediately. What it does is that it forces you to think through on the topics of relevance in your industry. It forces you to clarify the thoughts because you're going to write them. And it forces you to consistently do that over a period of time. Imagine what is this going to do to your career. Forget visibility on LinkedIn. I'll come to that in a minute. But just the very idea of being forced to think through twice a week and being in the public forum where you have to write repeatedly once or twice a week does wonders to one's reading as well as thinking and clarifying it. Now, what it does in terms of LinkedIn publicity and visibility is that it takes you up phenomenally in terms of engaging with the LinkedIn platform and your visibility. There are stats which say that of the people, and there are stats which say that some 8 million plus people are there on LinkedIn, and less than 20% do any writing on LinkedIn, apart from the fact that they put their profile. Only 20% of people or less do any writing on LinkedIn. They're all consumers of content. Very few people produce content. So if you produce content even once in a while, you become the top 20%. There are other stats which say that less than 5% produce content consistently at least once a week. Less than 5%. So if you produce content once a week about something that you deeply care about, you become one of those 5% of the people. Imagine what can happen to you in terms of leapfrogging that queue if you start producing twice or thrice a week content. It will be amazingly visible for you, produce visibility, make you as, okay, the person is deeply concerned about this topic, has a deep point of view about this topic. It will establish you very, very quickly as a thought leader on the topic. So take the first step, start producing content on LinkedIn, original content on LinkedIn, and that will do wonders to your career. What is it that you can share? What kind of thing that you can share? I can share, I can talk about a quick list, which may kindle your thought process. Whichever industry you belong to, think about the trending topics in that industry. For example, I belong to the industry called consumer insights. The trending topics are, how do you do data collection in a better manner? How do you produce insights which are true and reflective of the society? How do you produce insights in a faster and faster manner, nimble and quicker manner? How do you embed AI into analysis? How quickly you can do analysis and how quickly you can share. These are some of the topics that are being talked about any market research person, any consumer insights person. Similarly, it could be a set of different topics for your industry. What are those topics are? Produce your ideas about the trending topics. That's one. Second, if you are at the forefront of looking at trends, you have analyzed some trends, you can share your analysis of what is trending in the industry. You can share key pieces of your thought process, which connects with different industries. For example, how artificial intelligence can be harnessed in the context of your industry. How ChatGPT can be utilized in the context of your industry. What is going to happen to your industry in the next 50 years? You can think through and share your thoughts. The other thing that you can share about is your achievements and the projects that you do. If you are doing any certification course, by all means, share what you have done, what you are learning. And if you got that certification, go ahead, tom-tom it to the world. The world needs to know it. Share that. If you have done a project successfully in your company, as long as that's not a very confidential thing, and you can talk about it, talk about it. Talk about the challenges you faced in the project. Talk about how you put the team together, how you led the team, what did you do in the team, what was your role, how you surmounted those challenges, and how you delivered it to the client. Talking about this helps people to understand, oh, this person is good in terms of this kind of projects. And that's exactly the kind of visibility you want. Another thing that you can do is ask questions, thought-provoking questions. You can ask things like, you can ask industry body as what they think are the cutting edge trends which are happening in that industry. And let people respond to it. Let people respond to it. You can add your response to it. It can become a very engaging topic of discussion. You can ask people in terms of different aspects of what is happening in the society and how all of that connects back to your industry. So you can ask relevant questions, thought-provoking questions, and thereby engage with leaders, thereby engage with thought leaders, people with POV, and so on and so forth, which can be a very, very insightful way of utilizing this platform. You can share a personal story and what did you learn from that personal story, which can be of great value to a lot of people. For example, I shared my personal story of how I came very close to cracking the CAT exam and getting into IIMS, but how I lost it out all in the interview, how I thought that initially I thought that, I did not have the knowledge and therefore I lacked the knowledge to crack the interview. And later on reflection, how I thought that, maybe my English speaking skills, my communication was very bad. And that is why I lost. And then later on, how I realized that none of this is true. And in the first two questions, just because I could not answer those first two questions, I thought that I've lost it already. And that mental block was a reason why I lost rather than anything else. When I wrote this story on LinkedIn, it was very much appreciated. A lot of people called up, a lot of feedback came, a lot of people resonated with the story. This is one way of building visibility for yourself, where you share your true story, your anecdotes, and what lessons you are learning from that. It can be of great value to lots of people and thereby increasing your visibility also. Another interesting thing that people do in terms of sharing what they want to share is ask and create polls. Instead of asking questions, they create polls. For example, another poll could be that what is the biggest challenge that you face in terms of being productive? A, not getting up early in the morning. It could be B, hitting a roadblock and losing energy by afternoon. C, not having the right tools. D, not having the right vision to go forward. I'm just making up all of this, but it could be something like this. So you create a question, you create 4 or 5 options that you think could be the reasons why this exists and ask people to recommend and answer that. And building these polls also creates curiosity, engagement with the target audience, and they respond. And you can learn in terms of what the people who are on LinkedIn think about it. And you can also offer your perspective, your point of view as to why you are running the poll to start with, and thereby engaging and increasing that engagement with the LinkedIn audience. One small hack to remember is when you do all this, vary the kind of content that you share. Typically, most people write and put up that post, but increasingly what I'm seeing is that people share different kinds of content. Sometimes it's just writing, sometimes it is infographics, sometimes just cut, copy, paste. Sometimes it could be a video, sometimes it could be a post carried from some other place, sometimes it could be a meme, sometimes it could be a cartoon. So, and the length and the breadth can also be varied. Sometimes it could be a very long, detailed one. Sometimes it's a short, crisp, 30-word statement. Sometimes it is a quote. So when you share different kinds of different lengths of articles, newsletters, infographics, and videos and so on, it ensures that there is variety in what you're sharing, and your audience, which is starting to consume your content, also would enjoy that variety. So to summarize what we have been talking about in this session, very, very important to share things on LinkedIn. It does 2 things to you. It establishes you as a person who cares deeply enough to share his or her point of view. And over a period of time, when you consistently start sharing, it establishes you as a thought leader on the topic in that industry. Second, more at a personal level, Writing regularly, consistently on LinkedIn ensures that you think about the topic deeply. You cannot just faff around. You are writing and you are going to be scrutinized in front of so many people who are going to read your work. So it forces you to think through, forces you to clarify, and the very act of writing crystallizes the thought process in your mind. To my mind, that whole thinking and clarifying the topic is a lot more useful and effective thing when you write on LinkedIn than any other visibility that you can ever create. It's the greatest self-help that you can do for yourself. Now, on the second point, in terms of what is it that you can share, you can share lots of kinds of content. One, it could be industry trends. It could be trends that you have culled out, what is happening in other industry, which can be applicable over here. It could be about the personal challenges that you have faced and what lessons you have learned. It could be about the questions that you have and you want to have some answers that you solicit from the LinkedIn audience. It could be you can create a poll and get answers from the LinkedIn audience in terms of what they think the correct answer should be, what they think the reasons should be. And one guidance that I was talking about is use different kinds of media, different kinds of length and breadth of writing, videos, and crafts and infographics and so on and so forth, so that there is variety in what you are sharing, and your audience obviously is going to enjoy that variety. I'm sure you like this content. Please like it. Please subscribe to my channel and see you in our next episode.